Between 1999 and 2015, more than 900 postal workers in the United Kingdom were prosecuted for theft and fraud. 700 of them were convicted. At least 13 took their own lives. The evidence against every one of them was data produced by an automated system called Horizon, built by Fujitsu, deployed by the post office. The system had known bugs. Executives knew. When workers called the helpline reporting discrepancies, staff were instructed to tell them they were the only ones experiencing problems. No one in a leadership role ever asked the essential question: what is this system actually deciding, and is it correct? That is not a technology failure. That is an executive failure. The most consequential example of ungoverned automated decision-making in modern corporate history. Here is why it matters to you today. The AI systems you are deploying right now are exponentially more autonomous than Horizon ever was. The governance gap between what your AI is doing and what you know it is doing, that gap is where liability lives. A 2024 survey by the International Association of Privacy Professionals found that 63% of organizations have no formal policies governing their AI systems. 63%. That means the AI making hiring recommendations, pricing decisions, credit assessments, and fraud flags in most enterprises right now is running without a governance framework, without documented accountability, without an audit trail that would survive legal scrutiny. And here's what makes this a 2026 problem rather than a someday problem. Regulators are no longer asking whether you have AI. They are asking whether you govern it. And the answer they find will determine whether your name ends up in a regulatory filing. In March 2024, the SEC filed its first enforcement actions for what it called AI washing, companies claiming their AI did things it did not actually do. The fines were $400,000. That was the opening bid. The message was clear. We are watching what you say about your AI, and we are watching what your AI does. I have studied how enterprises deploy AI across industries, and 3 failure modes appear consistently across company sizes, sectors, and leadership teams that are otherwise sophisticated. The first is invisibility. Your AI is making decisions faster than any human can audit them. Pricing algorithms, risk models, resource allocation engines. Most executives can describe what the AI is supposed to produce. Almost none can tell me when someone last audited a sample of its actual decisions at the individual transaction level to verify it is producing what they think. In February 2024, Air Canada's AI chatbot gave a customer incorrect information about bereavement fares. When the customer sued, Air Canada argued the chatbot was a separate legal entity responsible for its own actions. The BC Civil Resolution Tribunal rejected that defense entirely. The company owned the AI. The company owned the liability. Future defendants will pay far more than Air Canada did. The second failure mode is delegation without governance. Most executives have handed AI decision-making to their technology teams. What they have not done is document who is accountable for each AI-driven decision, what the override protocols are, and what the escalation path looks like when the system produces an anomalous result. Delegation without governance is abdication. They are not the same thing. The third failure mode is assumption. The assumption that someone else is watching, that legal reviewed it, that compliance signed off. According to IBM's 2025 data breach report, 97% of organizations experiencing AI-related security incidents lacked proper AI access controls. Nobody built those controls because everybody assumed someone else had. Invisibility, delegation without governance, assumption. These are not technology problems. They are leadership problems, and they have a single solution: a governance structure that makes AI decisions visible, accountable, and auditable. Let me be direct about where enforcement stands. The EU AI Act is not a future event. Enforcement of prohibited AI practices, manipulative systems, social scoring, unauthorized biometric identification began February 2, 2025. Obligations for high-risk AI systems, which include AI that makes employment decisions, credit decisions, and risk assessments, go live in August 2026. Maximum penalties reach 35 million euros, or 7% of global annual turnover, whichever is higher. By the first quarter of 2026, EU member states had already issued approximately 50 fines, totaling around 250 million euros. The enforcement machine is operational. In the United States, AI-related securities class actions doubled from 2023 to 2024. The first half of 2025 alone produced 12 filings. Average settlement values for directors and officers' claims involving AI rose 27% to approximately $56 million per case. I want that number to sit with you for a moment. $56 million. Not because the AI failed, because the leadership team could not demonstrate they had a governance structure that would have caught the failure. And here's the board-level reality. Only 40% of S&P 500 companies have assigned AI oversight to a board-level committee as of 2025. 60% of boards are overseeing enterprises where AI is making consequential decisions, and no one at the governance level owns that risk. Plaintiff attorneys understand fiduciary duty. They are building cases around governance gaps. The Sentinel leader is not someone who slows AI down. The Sentinel leader creates the conditions under which AI can move fast and be trusted at the same time. That requires three things. First, visibility infrastructure. You need to know what your AI systems are deciding, not in aggregate, but at the transaction level. Sampling regimes, anomaly detection, decision logs that a regulator could examine on 24 hours notice. If you cannot produce that documentation today, you are carrying undisclosed risk. Second, defined accountability. Every AI system in your organization needs a named human accountable for its outputs. Not a team, not a department, a person. That person owns the audit trail. That person answers when something goes wrong. Distributed accountability is no accountability. Third, governance tempo. AI systems drift. Training data ages. The world changes and the model does not know it. The Sentinel leader builds review cadences, quarterly at minimum, to verify that what the AI is doing still matches what the organization authorized it to do. Governance is not a gate you pass through once. It is a discipline you maintain continuously. The post office executives were not villains. They were leaders who trusted a system without governing it. They delegated without accountability. They assumed someone else was watching, and 900 people paid the price. Your AI systems operate at a scale and a speed that Horizon's architects could not have imagined. The question is not whether you trust your AI. The question is whether you have earned the right to trust it by building the structure that makes that trust defensible in front of a regulator, a board, or a judge. That is the work of the Sentinel leader, and that work starts now.